Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Stand in line for your fix. DeMarcus and Marcus in the mix, serving you yet another round of fish and grits. What's going on, my man? 2 days after Valentine's Day, I had a wonderful week. I don't know about you, my man.
Oh man, I had a great week. It seemed like we've been away for a while, but we back to entertain the masses of America.
Oh, no doubt, yeah. We back and we better. We have to spend a little time with our families, get some things together at work. But you know how it go, America. We American, man. We just trying to make a living. How it go. But
Got to
man,
make that money.
let's just rewind real quick to Sunday, man. It's a lot of people out there saying it's the Grammys too white, and you can kind of see that. I mean, after you see Beyonce snubbed for album of the year, I believe this is a third straight time. I can't remember. I know it was Adele, Taylor Swift, and one more person. I can't remember who it was. But the last black woman to even win album of the year was Lauryn Hill in 1999, and 18 years with no African American woman winning that award. Like, why do they feel like they don't deserve it? And then to even throw on top of that, it's only been 10 black people that have won the award since 1959 when they first started the category. They play it too safe. How would you rather be comfortable handing out this award rather than rewarding great music? I'm not saying I listen to Beyonce, but I feel like from her fan base, which we know how wild they can get, it felt like this was their best album because between the music and the videos, it just all made sense. It was kind of like,
and the message.
Yeah, it was a message, and it was kind of like what 50 Cent did with one of his albums. Everybody said that was so creative, but he didn't have an actual story behind it. He just threw out 14 random rap songs and videos, but they didn't actually all sequence and create a positive message, just like you were just saying. So, I mean, what's your views on the Grammys?
Well, me personally, I don't watch things like the Grammys or the Academy Awards, the Oscars, better for known. Well, I used to watch Oscars, but a lot of it is there's award shows that are catered to more of our people, but we don't support that. We have the BET Awards, which could be considered our award, or you can go over to or you can go to Centra TV or whatever it's called. It used to be, what was that, TV One or whatever like that. They have their award shows, but a lot of our people feel like we're too above that, and we'd rather go, sit at the Grammys or the Oscars instead of supporting things that are trying to bring more attention to the black community. And if you're looking at the award, we said that Beyonce didn't win. The thing about that I wasn't just like rolling my eyes, because you know what it's going to be. You know who's going to win it. 9 times out of 10, it's not always going to be us that's going to win it. But the thing is, I don't feel like the Oscars, not the Oscars, the Grammys, they try to cater to us, but they don't cater to what we listen to or what we normally listen to. Like, a performance. Like, a lot of people, I personally think Migos is fine, but I would like to see them on there. But you won't see them on the Grammys. You'll see them like walking down the red carpet, but you won't see them performing. Or, or like in my opinion, when they did Album of the Year, a lot of those albums were okay and things of nature. But if it was like on BET, I don't think Kanye West is going to get a nomination. Drake probably get that nomination. But I feel like, everybody want to give it to Chance the Rapper because he's quote unquote the hot thing right now. But if you want to be honest with if you want to be honest with yourself, and if you really want to be truthful to the music, I believe that Schoolboy Q should have won, because his album was a work of art. And I'm tell you why, because I feel like he took you through the lifestyle of a Compton or just a California nigga and what they go through on a day-to-day basis. And I feel like he was more creative. Like, Chance is very creative, but Schoolboy's storytelling on his album surpassed Chance. And Chance kind of caters to the white people. A lot of white people find themselves liking Chance, but not a lot of white people.
That's true.
Or not a
he took advantage of a demographic that like Eminem left behind. Like that fan base wanted something.
It did. And then if you think about it, like same with Schoolboy, there's white people that do like Schoolboy, but not the masses like Schoolboy or his music, because it doesn't promote, I guess, positivity, some of, how Chance does. But honestly, I just feel like we want to complain as African Americans that, there's nobody who recognizes us, or there's no one that looks at us, or, we can't stand out of the crowd, when you are given a platform like BET and things of this nature, and you don't go support it. Like if you go watch the BET Awards, yeah, you're gonna see some of the up and coming artists or something like that, but you won't see
a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah, you won't see the Denzel there. You won't see a Beyonce gonna stay there. Jay-Z, Drake. They feel like they're too above that, and I don't personally. I feel like we complain about things when the solution's right in our face, but we just want to complain just to complain.
No, that's so true, man. Because it seems like when it comes to like the Grammys and those type of award shows, we quick to play victim as the African Americans, but then we don't show up to the African American award show. Like how can we be so biased about winning awards when the awards that we strive for are the ones that the white people create?
Yeah, like
but
that.
When you get the black awards, you don't even want to show up. You accepting it through a video chat? Come on, are you serious, man?
Yeah, and what's crazy about it is, I'm sorry to cut you off, but do you remember what was it last year when they were doing the Oscar so white or whatever? And it was like, okay, so Jada Pinkett Smith, you want to boycott the Oscars, but why do you feel like we as black people need to win an Oscar, or winning an Oscar just defines your career, or it just so puts you ahead of everybody else? Yeah, yeah, it's just like winning the Super Bowl, or winning a championship in the NBA, or in baseball. But the thing is, it doesn't define your career. So don't get mad when you're not nominated for that. You just deal with it and you move on. But I don't see you at the BET Awards or TV1's any of their awards, or the Soul Train Award. But you want to complain about it's just like we complain about. It seems like we want to fit in instead of stand out. You know what I'm talking about? Like she wants us to fit in as I guess a population to be accepted by white people. But guess what? When you grow up and you get older, you realize that you're not going to be accepted by anybody. So what's the best way to get accepted? Do your own thing and get recognized.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about, man. I mean, it's so frustrating, especially with the black community, because it always feel like we owed something when it comes to these type of awards. Why do we always have to feel obligated to be the winner of this award? You should be satisfied. And I'm not saying Beyonce should be satisfied, but the fact that you were even involved in, say, the top 7 or top 5, that they considered your album, that should be an accomplishment in itself. That's why some people put the category for I was a nominee for this award. That's why they put that on their resume, because it's an accomplishment. But it's plenty of artists that put out music within this year that didn't even get a track played by a majority of the members of the Grammy voting community. So it's frustrating, man, because yes, I know she worked hard, but we shouldn't always have to try to get social media and the rest of society on our side when we don't win one award. It's not like she hasn't won an award before, and then she didn't take home 2 Grammys as is. So she won something, So I feel like it's a lot of outrage going on. Is the Grammys too white? Yes, it is. But this is not how we're going to change it by boycotting it. That's just going to make them start to push us out even more. Shit, I think they happy that we boycotting. There's less people they got to put up with of our color. So we actually doing them a favor, if you want to be completely honest.
Yeah, if you really want to be honest, yeah. But I mean, I saw some of the Grammys, and I was impressed for what they brought to. They were very entertaining on their sketch comedies or the performances. The Chance was good out there. Beyonce was good. But the thing about it is, I just don't feel like we complain about things that shouldn't be complained for. Because I'm just like, I don't truly believe winning a Grammy is going to set you above anybody else. Look at J. Cole. J. Cole wasn't even nominated, nor didn't even receive a.
I don't think he was up this year. I think he's going to be up next year.
Well, okay. Well, if he is up next year, I'm pretty sure J. Cole's not going to win. And he's putting out some of the best music right now. And I'm just like, stay in your own lane. Worry about your craft. Don't be distracted by these outside influences. Don't feel like you need to win a Grammy or Oscar or anything like that. Just stick to what you're doing, because once you start worrying about other things and you get distracted, that's when you start to fall off. And I'm looking at Kanye West. When he started focusing on wanting to win a Grammy and want to get more accepted, that's when his music, in my opinion, started falling off. Yeah. Like, everybody may say that he is the god of rap right now, but I personally feel like Kanye West hasn't put his
music to try to win a Grammy. That's the problem. That's what
That's
happened.
true. That's true. He's wanted to cater to those people. I mean,
Mhm.
that's fine if you want to cater to people like that, and that's fine. But never forget where you came from, because at the end of the day, you want to be a great, but he was halfway there and he just stopped, in my opinion.
You know, I like that you said that J. Cole could lose next year. But tell me this. Would you feel it'll be more from the public outrage of this year or from his actual work of art if he was to actually take home the Grammy next year?
Oh man, I don't man that it'll probably touch on both.
Like what? Because it wouldn't seem right. You know, like how could Beyonce lose this year, but all of a sudden J. Cole win this year after we just called the Grammys too white?
You know what's funny? I want to be honest with you. Let's have this conversation right quick. You know, there's a lot of people that it seems like all of a sudden a lot of people are, the down talking Trump and standing out and equality and this and that. And it seems like a lot of people are trying to, I guess, unify or something like that. But in doing all this talking, I don't see the power or I want to say the power figures or people that we look up to talking. Like, yeah, you may have an actress come out and say something or blah blah blah, but I want to, Denzel may come stepping
Majority of the
out.
people is no comment though. It's like you can't
Yeah,
get
you can't.
anybody to say anything on record anymore.
Exactly. Like personally, if J. Cole were to win next year, if he was to get nominated, he was to win, man, I'm telling you, he would have something powerful to say up there, because if you listen to his music, his interviews, or just watch his documentary, the dude has separated himself from society, and he's starting to step back and see, why are we crumbling as, as a culture and as a society, as I was saying. And it's just like people like that. I want to hear more of them and less of everybody else. Like it seemed like it's a popularity contest. Like who's going to stand up now and say something about Trump, or who's going to stand up and say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter" all of a sudden. But I want those people that we look up to really speak. So because people like T.I., people like let's say not Tracy Morgan, but like J. Cole, or people like Sinbad. These people, I'm listening to their interviews. These people are talking about real topics and making it, I guess, showing their knowledge that they're beyond their craft. They're I guess soaking in what's going on, and they have a word to say. And those are the people I want to hear from. I don't want to hear from like, oh, here comes Jennifer Lawrence saying something about it. I want to hear those people who really have something to say and has really been affected by it talk about this, what's going on.
I mean, we live in society right now that is so unsocially aware. Like, it's so many people that are just outside the box. They just don't pay attention to what's going on. You can even look as far as TNT. We've heard for years that Charles Barkley don't even watch his own games. That's his job. Now, that's his job. He gets paid to do this. A lot of people are at home not getting paid to realize what's going on in the world, and they just letting it pass on, and they really don't care. It's so important to be socially aware of what's going on in today's society. And that's what we missed out on the most, I think, in this new generation. They just don't care. Everybody's all about the glitz and the glamour now.
Bro, it's so funny you say that, because if you ever look at like Twitter, or you look at Facebook or Instagram or any kind of social media outlet, if you listen to what most people say, they complain when we come. Let's talk a little bit about sports. We like to evolve sports, and I mean, this show is about sports, but we want to evolve. I mean, talk about different topics. But a lot of people that tune in to ESPN or FS1 or Fox Sports, or if FS1 is Fox Sports, or NBC Sports, or anything like that, they always want to say, why are they bringing politics into sports? Why can't it be just sports? Why can't we just separate from, politics and political correctness, and let's just talk about sports? And when any type of player speaks out on social issues or political issues, everybody wants to knock those people like, oh, no, you're not supposed to talk about that. Stick to sports. But guess what? You may think that, but those people still experience the same racism, the same struggles, the same difficulties that me and you face on a day-to-day basis. Just because you're rich, your problems don't disappear. Just because you have a whole bunch of fans don't mean that you still don't have a whole bunch of fans that don't like you. Like, hearing these people from their point of view is more warming than somebody of whiteness trying to talk about, to show their sympathy, which is great that they show they show their sympathy, but I can't have you relating to me, and I can't understand what you're coming from. That's why I wish these NFL players and NBA players step up and they talk more about these, because they are being affected. And there's a whole generation of people that are not listening to everybody, but those people that they look up to, if y'all start talking, then maybe they will listen, and then maybe some change will start happening. But you never know.
That's true, man. I mean, we need a lot of things to change. I mean, let's just jump into this James Dolan situation.
Oh,
they really try to make this a racial issue also. I mean, I'm not sure exactly how you feel, but
it's not race.
I want to look at it from James Dolan's perspective just for a minute, because it's like nobody's defending him, and I'm not saying he deserves to be defended, but New York is a franchise that has struggled, I want to say, for the latter part of 20 years. They've been through coach after coach. We've seen marquee players from Stephen Marbury, Jamal Crawford, Carmelo Anthony, Jeremy Lin, Amari Stoudemire. They bring in so much talent. They bring in so much talent just to try to turn things around. James Dolan is an owner who owns the New York Rangers, the hockey team, and also the New York Liberty, the WNBA team. He lets all their general managers just focus on whatever they got to do. And those other two franchises, they're at least in contention in their profession, okay? Then you go to the Knicks and what they call the Mecca of basketball, the basketball city of them all, and this is the type of product that you've been putting out over the last couple of years. Now, I can understand his frustration because he's tired of hearing this. He's trying, but when general managers are put in place to do their job, and you have hired general managers in your other two businesses that are doing a hell of a job, why isn't the blame going on Phil Jackson? Why is it all going on James Dolan as the owner who has to put up with this? He's not the man that's making all these decisions. Phil Jackson is. And he has to put up with all this from his ex-players like Charles Oakley. And I just don't think it's fair, because it's not his fault. He's running two successful businesses by staying out of it. It looked like he was trying to stay out of it in New York, but if you're going to continue to heckle him on the sideline, what you expect him to do? The only thing he has is that business. So if he can kick you out of there at any time, that's his given right.
That's true. And I like it what you said earlier about you don't think it's a racial issue. It seems like whenever let's call it for a spade, when a white person disagrees with a black person or has an altercation with a black person, it's already automatic. Everybody thinks, oh, he's racist or he's trying to be rude or something like that. Now, some of his comments were very rude, calling him he thinks he needs to get help, or he's an alcoholic or something like that. Now, that was a little bit too far, but I just don't think he likes Charles Oakley, honestly. Charles Oakley was not a likable dude, especially when he played back in the day. He was always the rough, tough kind of dude. But the thing that always blows my mind and what is, I don't know, it just throws me off that New York is still, right now, is worth the most money in the NBA. How is that possible when you've been so mediocre for 20 years? This is like the Dallas Cowboys.
Spike Lee's there.
But you know what? New York, you would think New York is known for what? Rap, good food, and what? Basketball. And it just seemed like y'all can't be good at basketball, and it's taking 20 years to be good at basketball. You just you have the blacktop battles and all that went Rutgers Park, all that is in New York, and y'all seem like y'all can't even get it together to form a successful NBA team. And
just a decent team. They're not even expecting championships. They just want 48 wins.
They can't even get that. I don't know, man. And the thing about it is, the whole Charles Oakley situation they were wrong on both sides, because Charles Oakley, let's be honest, he was shoving, he was pushing. Yeah, you shouldn't have brought that many people to escort somebody out. But let's be honest. Man. Hey, he was throwing bows out there. He went way too far. Like, everybody's really trying to sugarcoat it. Like, oh, Charles Oakley, why do they do that to him?
Charles knew he was on TV. Charles acted a fool.
And what's crazy about this? They talk about Charles Oakley like he's Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant. Charles Oakley, in his years of playing, he averaged 9 points, 9 rebounds, and people are really talking about, oh, we retire. The New York. Jeff Van Gundy had the nerve to say we should retire his jersey in the rafters.
That's just the coach taking up for his player.
That's all it is coach taking up for his player. And the main reason why New York will always be mediocre in the future going forward is because they're not the right people set in place to make the right decisions and do the right moves. Why would you, you're trying to be a young franchise, why would you sign Derrick Rose and Noah? What a waste of money. Why would you, when you had the opportunity, why would you sign Melo and you put he has a no trade clause in his contract? That is not smart business decisions. I mean, there's nothing that's on Melo that screams like, I'd have to keep this man on my team.
It's true, and I don't understand what's stopping them from pursuing other players. Like, I don't understand why nobody wants to go to New York. It's like the biggest name they had got before Melo was like Amari Stoudemire. He was the first big player to go there, and we knew he couldn't carry a team. I mean, he needed Steve Nash in Phoenix.
Hey, they overpaid for what do you have, like a 5-year for $100 million? I was like,
how can you be the capital of basketball and have to overpay for a power forward of Amari Stoudemire's caliber? And that's not to say he was a bad player, but he wasn't worth almost 30% of your overall salary. No, he wasn't worth that much.
That's true, but I mean, New York needs to get it right because it seems like New York fans are always content on being mediocre. They want to complain and they want to stomp their feet and they want to cry and they want to pout and they would say, "Oh, my team is no good. Oh, my team never is any good." Because when you keep supporting mediocrity, well, guess what? The Knicks are going to continue to give you mediocrity. James Dolan is sitting up here thinking, probably to himself, "Hey, guess what? My team is worth the most money in the NBA right now. And guess what? I have not had a successful team in 20 years. Guess what? That means that the fans are not doing what they need to do to make their owner change his mind."
Yeah.
Because let me dangle, let me get Stoudemire. Oh, y'all entertain right now. Oh,
like 5 seasons.
Yeah, for 5 seasons. Oh, Jeremy Lin. Let me promote Jeremy Lin. He's kind of flashy. Yeah. Y'all still was trash. Then let's get Melo.
Tyson Chandler like $40 million. Remember that?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The Knicks are a joke. I mean, it is what it is. I truly believe that whole Oakley situation is overblown out of proportion. I don't know why it got so much media attention. It is what it is. It should have been a one-day topic and moved on. But
I mean, sports is dead right now, so they needed any kind of story.
Yeah, they needed something to talk about. It is dead.
And the only reason I kind of side with not like I say, not fully, but I could see an NFL player doing the same thing. Rodney Harrison has pissed so many people off in the media, especially with the Texans. Like he talked down on the Texans, it seemed like every other week, never take them serious. So
he hate the Texans.
He hate them. So it's like after a while, if James Dolan hearing this same kind of talk from a player that played for him, how would you feel? I know how I feel about Rodney Harrison, and I hate the dude every time he come on. So after a while, you hear so much trash talk that you just start to hate this person, and you don't want to have any kind of association with him. And I think that's just what kind of mind frame he's in at the time, because you start to remember everything this person said, everything. So I think he acted on emotion. He was not completely right, but he also had the right to kick him out of his building. And the fact that you got to call Michael Jordan to try to patch things together, he on the phone, and Oakley don't even want to accept the apology. It's just a whole media circus that should not be a story anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny you say Rodney Harris because his football life came on the other day, and I was like, man, I hate Rodney Harris. And I was watching the football life. I said, man, I kind of like this guy. And I was like, damn, you football life. But when you talk about that whole meeting between Jordan and Adam Silver and James Dolan, and I heard Charles Oakley was like, he wanted an apology. You're a grown man. You could have really squashed this maybe a couple of days later.
Same day.
You could have. That's it. It didn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is, and I just feel like they just need to go ahead and James Dolan was doing the most also, because let's not sugarcoat this. He banned that dude from all Knicks games. That was just doing too much, honestly.
Yeah. He took it too far.
He did. He was being.
You can be mad. I mean, but not entire band. Like for the rest of your life, you're gonna be so many Oakley jerseys up there.
Man, just be honest, man. Being childish comes at all ages. That's all they showed me.
You're not lying, man. You know, let's move on to a little love for this show. Let's talk about your boy Kevin Love. Look like he's gonna be getting that left knee scooped out again in 2013, and his season ended after getting scar tissue removed. And now in 2017, look like we're in the same boat. He's having problems in the same exact knee. His health is vital to the Cavs' success. I mean, let's not sugarcoat that 20 points and 11 rebounds. That's a lot of production when you talk about the NBA game, especially in today's NBA, to where you have to score. It seems like 115 plus just to win. So they really need him to come back to the playoffs completely healthy, or this team could be in trouble. I mean, we've seen them go into the finals without Kyrie and Kevin Love, and they still push the Warriors to the limits. But at the end of the day, it still showed like you can't just be missing 20 points and try to bring in Shannon Fry and Kyle Korver and think that everything else will be all right and just fall in place for you.
I mean, it's not looking too bad, honestly, because Korver, since Kevin Love went out, he had 28, and then he had 22 the other night. That's pretty impressive. And you know what?
Can it hold up in a playoff run, though?
That's true, but Kevin Love should be back by then. But the thing that blows my mind about
who's
this
to say he won't get hurt again. I mean, we seen his season
injury
twice.
Prone. He is injury prone. But I mean, the thing that I think that is more amazing is why. Let's talk about this. Why would Atlanta? What's going on in Atlanta? You're in the 4th seed. You're still in the you're still in the competition to get the third.
I still haven't wrapped my head around this trade,
bro. Why would you get rid of Kyle Korver and you take Dunleavy? That's crazy. That's one thing, and then you're gonna give it to the Cavaliers. The one thing I can give LeBron credit for is LeBron may travel a lot and get away with it. He may free arm a lot and get away with it. Him even babies for calls and gets away with it. But LeBron makes the average player play a little bit better. So if you give him Kyle Korver, who was struggling in Atlanta, and he gets acclimated with LeBron, what do you think is going to happen to his stats? Kyle Korver is going to start playing like how cool. They're not just understand why do people continuously give LeBron ammo and then they want to complain, oh, our team can't ever do anything. Well, he's doing stupid things like that. It's like you stop LeBron. Like, yes, LeBron can bitch and complain for more help and more supporting cast, but guess what? You as a team or an NBA franchise should not want to keep giving LeBron what he wants. You should keep those players that are kind of, I want to say, that can be good. I wouldn't give him Shannon Fry to the Cavaliers. I wouldn't have let Kevin Love go over there. I'm not trying to give LeBron more ammo, but it seems like we're leaving an NBA today where, we just really don't care. And as long as we can still fill people in the seats, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's true. I mean, they already feel that way. I mean, they really don't care about just sitting out games. I mean, let's just be completely honest about the NBA. The NBA is so overpriced right now. And the fact that it's a lot of people on an average night, you may spend between 100, maybe 120, depending on how many people going with you on an NBA game. And if I was to spend that much money and to see the star player sitting out, I'm pissed. I'm pissed because I either got off work early, I didn't set in this traffic, I didn't pay for parking, I didn't got Frisch trying to come up in here, I'm scuffling and trying to find my seat, and LeBron sitting down. Man, hell no. Man, I'll be pissed off.
Bro, it's so funny to talk about that.
It's frustrating, bro. It really is frustrating for people to spend their hard-earned money to see these superstars. It's not that many of them. It's not that many of them, Marcus. We're talking about 12-man rosters, and you really only see 7 of them play.
And what's crazy about it is everyone wants to compare LeBron sitting to like when Popovich rests Ginobili, Tony Parker, Tim Duncan.
You still see good basketball. You still see good basketball from the Spurs.
Bro, but how many people of the average person besides San Antonio fans was running to see Tim Duncan play, Tony Parker play, Ginobili play? As good as those players were, they weren't entertaining enough to draw enough interest. LeBron is a figurehead in the NBA, and he acts like he needs rest or he needs time off to get his body together. When was just playing a game of basketball just enough for people? That you have to take it, you have to go the extra mile and get pampered, and you have to get babied. They don't. This is a soft core league right now. Let's be honest about it.
It is. I mean, basketball is not the same no more. The NBA in itself has changed so much, even when you just think about 10 years ago. I mean, we've discussed plenty of times the athletes that just stayed out there. I mean, night after night. You got to respect the guys like Jason Richardson that went out there, the Gilbert Arenas that went out there, the Baron Davis that went out there. They wasn't superstars, but they put on a good show. They actually knew how to play some basketball, and your team wouldn't be complete without those type of players. You need those B-list all-stars on your team to make everything flow. And when you got a superstar like LeBron, the face of the league, not no B-list all-star, and he want to sit out, that's a problem because Baron Davis, he played hurt so many years, but he wanted to get out there each and every time. He was probably one of my favorite NBA superstars, to be completely honest with you, just because he was tough. He get down there in the paint. He tried to get dirty. You don't see that out these point guards right now. You don't see a lot of point guards just attacking the glass like that. Yeah, you got Russell Westbrook, but he's a freak of nature. Let's be completely honest. It's not a lot of Russell Westbrooks in the world. So the NBA has completely changed. You just don't see that toughness that you used to see. And you can tell with the caliber of play. There's no defense. There's no defense. And the All-Star game is the perfect game for these NBA players. This is the game that every player want to play in. The one game where you can just be selfish and take every shot and nobody's going to be guarding.
Yeah, man. It's the crazy thing about it is there was somebody on ESPN. They had Isaiah Thomas on SportsCenter throughout the day. And there was one person that had the nerve to say that Isaiah Thomas is the better Isaiah Thomas out of the duo. How crazy can you be to say that Isaiah Thomas, who, yes, Isaiah Thomas is looking really impressive right now. Yeah, he's averaging 30 points a game, a couple of, like 4 assists or something like that.
He wouldn't be averaging this in the 90s or the 80s, probably not even the 2000s.
Bro, you don't have – there's no person – Isaiah Thomas played on a bum ankle and still put up buckets. And you would not catch a player nowadays that would have a bum ankle that they would play. Isaiah Thomas, how many points do you think Magic, Bird, Isaiah Thomas, Jordan, Patrick Ewing, Akeem, all these players, how many points do you think these players would average in today's game?
Mm-hmm.
Well above what people are averaging right now. Yeah, you have a lot of players that are growing up looking at their idols of the Michael Jordans, the Birds, the Matt Johnson. So their play is elevated to a whole nother heightened status. But the NBA is making it easier for these players to stand out because you have your lack of defense. You make it easier for player to score when you can just pull up and you can, there's no defense. You can pull up from 30 and, you're a star all of a sudden. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like the league, it's entertaining, but in the long run, I don't think this is going to last much longer because if we keep watching this type of basketball, people are going to start losing interest, in my opinion.
No, I can't.
Because how many times can you watch the Warriors just dominate every year? Mm-hmm. It's going to get tiring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? A lot of these players are these stars are taking pay cuts to play with other stars. That's what I'm talking about. That's not entertainment anymore. Nobody wants to compete. You have the competitors, as in you have the Russell Westbrooks, who's are dogs, or you have the James Harden, who still puts up nice numbers, even though we'll lose. You have the LeBron James every now and then that wants to put a little beast mode in it, but you don't have a lot of those players that just want to, I guess, just ball out, honestly, in my opinion, on a day-to-day basis. Everybody wants to go team up and be all buddy, and we got this super team. Come beat us now. It's like, no, I want to play you. I don't want to join you.
True. And that's how a lot of the NBA is right now, man. I mean, even when you look at the roster, I know this may be kind of a far stretch, but I want to say every team maybe has 3 or 4 people that can actually play good defense. Maybe. So we're talking about either 25% or less of your roster actually committed to playing defense. That's 75% of the league that's not doing anything on the defensive side other than a little half-ass zone, or they may step in front of you and put a hand up. There's no true contest anymore. And it's getting even harder because even if you do contest, they getting a foul out of it. Like, I don't know what the hell they be doing to James Harden sometimes.
Bro, you know what killed the game? You know what really killed the game? The pick and roll really killed the game, if you want to be honest.
Not just the pick and roll, but how they call the pick and roll.
Because these people be doing moving screens. If you want to be honest, a lot of these players really be doing some moving screens that they don't call anymore.
They don't call it no more. Like they sit there, they run the pick and roll, they just jamming up some point guard.
Exactly.
And then the power forward got like a one-on-one. Either he gonna give up a floater, alley-oop, no look pat. The passes is getting stupid nowadays. I don't know if it's just vision or they just nobody putting their hands up deflecting balls. You don't see nobody playing the defensive lanes anymore. Trevor Ariza won a championship playing the defensive lanes with the Lakers. What happened to that art? He still does it now, don't get me wrong. But what year was this, Marcus? What, 2009?
Mm-hmm.
That's the last time you seen
that. 9 to 10?
Yeah, that's the last time you actually seen a championship decided on a defensive play. Other than that, it's blowouts or clutch shots. No defensive plays. If you want to count the LeBron block, you can go ahead and throw that in there. But that still came down to Kyrie's shot.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
It's still an offensive league. That's the last time I can say somebody won a championship on defense. Look at Ray Allen.
Yeah, Ray Allen it's a fast-paced world that everybody lives in. We live in now. That defense is really, really boring. If you want to be honest, a lot of people don't see that as being entertaining basketball.
They don't do it.
But if you did it more often, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would, I guess, gravitate to more defense. But it is what it is. I don't see it shaking up no time soon. I don't, in the immediate future right now, I don't see it being a problem. But later down on the line, they're gonna have to start incrementing more defense or more defensive stops and stuff like that, because a lot of people are gonna get tired of it. Because what happens when you get too tired of everybody shooting jumpers all the time?
Right.
What you gonna do next?
Exactly. Yeah, what you gonna do after that? You gonna start playing defense now? Now it's gonna be a defense.
You're gonna be shooting from the half court.
That's gonna be the new wave of the NBA, man. But let's get into these good old power rankings. Just to let everybody know, the Pacers are out of the rankings. They are number 10 team. Now they're out.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with the number 11 team, the team that's right on the outside and also just made a huge move picking up Serge Ibaka. Well, it depends on how you look at it. The Raptors here at number 11 after they was number 6 on our last ranking. I don't think the Ibaka move helps Toronto that much. I don't see him as the it factor for them to get over the top. I think he does guarantee that you could take LeBron maybe to game 6, but I don't see y'all winning in 7 with Serge Ibaka. I mean, I don't know how you feel about the move. I mean, you seen this guy get dealt for pennies twice in one season. And he's not that same player. The athleticism is gone. The defense is taking a step back. And I feel like he's too comfortable shooting the jump shot.
Yeah, let's talk about this right quick. So when initially when I first heard that Ibaka was on a training block, I thought that the Celtics were going to make a run at him because they need some more, I guess, defense efficiency, and he can spread the floor. And then I was thinking, like, who else would need a Ibaka? Like, the Rockets could really use him. OKC really does miss Ibaka. But the Raptors, it was a good pickup, but they gave up Terrence Ross. And of lately, in this losing stretch, Terrence Ross is the most consistent player on their team that was putting up buckets that they were dependent on night after night. So now you're taking that offensive juggernaut that you had and you putting Ibaka in. And I just like, how is that going to match up with Patrick Patterson? How is that going to match up with DeMar Carroll? Then he has to get acclimated into the system and the whole fast pace that they run. So I don't know how this is going to work out in the long run. For right now, on paper, it looks okay because they are lacking in defense. And Ibaka can bring defense, even though he seemed like he's kind of getting away from that and is going more on the offensive tip. But I don't, with the Magic, I understand why they dealt him out, because what they did was Ibaka wasn't giving them the numbers that they paid for. And on top of that, they have too many big men, which is crazy. I don't understand why they signed Bismack and Ibaka, and then you have Valanciunas, or not Valanciunas, I can't think of the center dude there, but whatever his name is, you had him, and I'm just like, why you keep getting these big men, and you really need more scoring, honestly, but it is what it is. But they wanted to get rid of him to free up some cap space.
You're not lying. Then you gave up 10 points a game with Terrence Ross. It ain't like you was giving up somebody that wasn't actually contributing. Like you said, he has been hot recently, and the team's already on the slide. I believe they 4-6 in the last 10 games. Currently sitting at fourth, but they tied with the Hawks, so they can easily be fifth. They may not even have home court advantage when the playoffs start. So it's a lot of issues in Toronto that I think they need to work over. I think they're going to have to for sure decide whose team this is going to the playoffs, because they can't afford Kyle Lowry to just keep jacking up shots in the playoffs this year. He's gonna have to try to work in the system, or just get a ball up to DeMar DeRozan and just let him do his thing. Because clearly Kyle Lowry has been a no-show, I believe, in the playoffs for 3 straight years. That's crazy. Like, how do you just not show up?
I don't know, man. The same can be said for Steph Curry. You know, he seemed to show up in the finals at least. But the thing that I'm starting to notice is, yeah, Toronto is 10 in our power rankings, but I can see them easily get bumped off because they really, 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 really are slipping. And it's starting to notice more than other previous years, but a lot of teams really looking like they really need a rest. Like Memphis has been losing some close ones. They look like they need some rest. Utah's still hot. The Rockets really look like they need some rest because it's looking like the other players need more rest than James Harden himself. The Warriors, they gave up a few close ones. They can get a few extra, Z's, to restore their body. And let's be honest, Cleveland really could use some rest. I know LeBron is playing the second most minutes in the league right now, but he looks spry some nights, and then some nights he looks kind of laggish a little bit. So he really can use some rest. And Toronto really needs this break, because I think they were half a game behind the Cavaliers in January, the beginning of January. And what happened? They're in the 6th seed right now. That's a smooth drop off. Like you let the Celtics, the Wizards, and Miami start getting too hot, and Atlanta. Honestly, you start letting these other teams get too hot while y'all falling off, and y'all really need this rest to come back and gather. But that Ibaka trade, I don't know. It may pan out for a quick minute, but I don't see it helping long term, honestly.
Exactly. And that was the number 11 team, the Raptors. Moving on to the number 10 team on our last rankings. They was ranked number 7. We got the LA Clippers sitting at 35-21. 4-game winning streak going into the All-Star break, so not too bad. They starting to get a little bit more healthier. But it's still the same old Clippers to me, man. I mean, this team honestly is still going to go as far as Blake Griffin can take them. And I don't know if he's ready to make that huge step. Like, he's not even putting up better numbers than Kevin Love. And I know it's not fair to say they different players, but you should at least be outproducing Kevin Love's on both ends of the basketball. I mean, as far as rebounds and points, I feel like he should be able to do a little bit more. His assist is up there, I must say. So I just don't know if he's ready. Because they need Blake Griffin in order to win at least 2 playoff series, if not just one. Blake Griffin's going to have to average about 28, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, shoot at least 50% from the field goal, about 70 from the free throws. He's gonna have to have a complete series for this team to have success. And I still don't know if he's ready to make that leap.
I don't think they're going anywhere because let's be honest, Chris Paul is going to have to come back, and look how long it's going to take him to get back acclimated and everything to gel back together, and everybody, just him coming back is not going to change the whole dynamic of the team, and they're going to be back to where they was in the beginning of the season, because he got to get back into the system. Blake Griffin's going to have to, those shots that he was getting, had to get back to Chris Paul, and those assists that he was getting. But the thing about the Clippers, somebody said this, and I don't know who said this, but I read it or I could have heard it somewhere, but they were saying that sometimes your stats may look impressive, but is it helping the team? Mm-hmm. And I love it what he said that, because he analyzed a few players that are scoring a lot of points. They're looking really flashy, but are you helping your team win? Anthony Davis balling right now, but your team's still not winning. And we have Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins is probably the most improved starting of this year, and his team is still losing. Same goes for Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin got a triple double, and his team still still lost. Same with what's his name in Phoenix, the point guard, Eric Bledsoe, balling right now, but your team is still losing. Like, these players are not getting there. It is, I don't know, for whatever reason is. Maybe just everybody else is like kind of in awe that you're balling on your team, or everybody, since you're balling, everybody else not getting their shot or something, whatever it is. But a lot of these teams, these players are putting up great stats, but their team is not winning for whatever reason. And I don't know what the issue is, honestly. And the Clippers fall in that category.
When it comes to the stats, it's not that hard to get them. I mean, rebounds come because everybody's taking these volume shots before the shot clock even get to 16. And points come from taking volume shots. So, I mean, yeah, you're able to take more shots, so you're able to score more points. But, yeah, you're not helping the team. You're just jacking up more shots and getting more rebounds. You're getting more misses.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not really doing anything productive except shooting more shots. It's all about efficiency. Like, the one thing I like about Kevin Durant and what he's doing with the Warriors is his efficiency. He's not playing as many minutes, but he's still on pace to average the same amount of points because he's shooting that efficient with the basketball. So it's all about efficiency. If you're not able to be efficient with your shot taking, you don't need to be out there taking shots. Or if you are going to take those shots, your team is going to be like you just said, Andrew Wiggins, and Anthony Davis, and Eric Bledsoe. You're going to go out there, you're going to put up 30 points, you're going to grab about 13 rebounds, you may get 7 assists, but your team going to lose by 20. But your stat line look nice.
Exactly. And if you want to be honest, like, Westbrook is looking like that. He's falling in that category because his team's not playing better. If you watch OKC,
his team is in contention to be in the playoffs. Like all those teams we named, nowhere close.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing about Westbrook, I was looking at that. I mean, he's really playing. He's playing some good basketball right now, but they're gonna have to get him some help because the people that's on his team right now, it just impresses me that Westbrook can average a triple double and still may not make the playoffs. Like, that's impressive. I don't know if that's impressive or that's depressing. Our team's just that good, and y'all just are just not that good, or you just don't have.
I mean, it don't seem like it's that. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and make it seem like it's just that easy to have a triple double in the NBA. I mean, but James Harden got 15 of them, so we clearly can see if you're given the full control of an NBA team, this is what's capable. This is what you can be. This is what you can actually do if you're that good. And it's a lot of players in the NBA that probably could not sustain what James Harden and Westbrook is doing health-wise, because that's a lot of wear and tear, because it's people on the other side that don't want you to score, don't want you to pass, and don't want you to get that rebound. But it's also other players on that court that really don't care, and they just try and see where their next shot going to come from. So it's really not that hard. It's just all about staying healthy. And the one thing those two players have is health.
Yeah, that's true. They do have health, and man, it's impressive to see this. Man, it's kind of weighing on my heart, because we saw the same thing with the whole Curry and Harden MVP run, and Curry ended up getting in it, and now everybody's really been talking up Westbrook because their team's starting to win, and the Rockets are kind of falling off right now, even though we do have 22 games over 500. But it's just like, I just hope people really don't overshadow, don't let the triple doubles overshadow what James Harden's doing for his team, and where everybody kind of predicted the Rockets to be at. Like, we were predicted to be an 8 seed right now. I mean, for this year, and we're sitting at the 3 spot. And yeah, we slip in a few games, but guess what? We still got a good 4 or 5 game lead over the 4 seed. So that's pretty impressive. And you have to give Harden some credit, because he's taking a whole new roster, a whole new coach, and a whole different approach to the game, and he's still succeeding. Westbrook has, kind of the same. Yeah, you lost Kevin Durant, and yes, you lost Serge Ibaka, and yes, you got Oladipo. You got another scoring threat, and yes, one of your players did just get hurt, but your team is still not winning. Yeah, you're doing all these triple doubles, which is nice, but you're not winning. I mean, back in the day, Oscar Robertson averaged a triple double and still finished number 3 in MVP votes. Like people are being distracted by the flash of the MVP, but I mean the triple double. But guess what? Like it's all about wins at the end of the day, and James Harden's winning. Like think about this, DeMarcus. This is something impressive. The Rockets are winning. They have won more games than the Cavaliers. And look at the Cavaliers roster compared to the Rockets.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. Something needs to be said. What the Rockets are doing right now, impressive. What James Harden is doing right now is impressive.
Without having 2 additional All-Stars.
Exactly.
That's true, man.
Where's the Kyrie and the love on the Rocket squad? You want to give me Eric Gordon? No. You want to give me Ryan Anderson? No. I'll take Kevin Love over Ryan Anderson.
That's not a lie. That's not. Minus the injuries.
Yeah. I'll take Kyrie over Eric Gordon any day.
Oh yeah, of course.
But do you hear Harden over here bitching and complaining? Oh, I need more help.
That's true, man. That's true. He's the silent superstar right now, as of now. But I think eventually somebody gonna want to team up with Harden. We just don't know who yet. I'd like to see another big name down here next to him, though. But let's go number 9 team. They was also 9 on our last rankings. The Utah Jazz. Quinn Snyder and the Utah Jazz sitting at 35-22, currently 5th in the West. 6-4 in their last 10 games. I mean, their defense not going nowhere. They finally getting their offense together a little bit. They still only allowing about 96 points a game, which is amazing in today's NBA. And that's actually the lowest in the league at the moment. But it still don't take much on their offensive end for them to get clicking or just to get wins. It's all about the defense. I still love how Rudy Gobert is just dominating inside, man. It's beautiful to see that type of big man just dominating inside. Kind of what I don't know if I take him or DeAndre Jordan right now. I want to say Rudy Gobert because it seemed like his blocking is a little bit better than Jordan. Jordan's a little bit more athletic. But even with the free throws, I'll take Rudy Gobert with those free throws, man.
Yeah, and then Gordon Hayward, man, he got paid and still playing pretty good, man. He's putting up some stupid numbers. And the thing about the Jazz, they caught a lot of people's like, oh, the Jazz are caught us all by surprise. Man, if you watch the Jazz last year, yeah, they may have been I think they were an 8 seed, maybe a 9 seed. Don't quote me on that. But they were making noise, and you can see that chemistry starting to develop, and you see that talent around there was starting to, cement itself. And the thing I like about the Jazz is just the thing I like about the Jazz is the same thing that I like about the Spurs, that they build through the draft, that they're not a conventional offense, they're not conventional offense. They don't a conventional approach to things. They don't have to go get a star, or they don't have to get a big name or something like that. All they need is the right pieces of the puzzle to make it all move. Same with the Spurs. The Spurs don't have any quote unquote stars. Yeah, you can call Kawhi Leonard a star, but it is what it is. He's not a James Harden, a Westbrook, or any of those names, even Isaiah Thomas right now. But at the end of the day, everything works, everything clicks, and everybody plays in their emotion. Plays in their spot, in their space. And that's what I like about the Jazz. And that's what the thing I'm going to like about them going forward, because they're not your traditional team that there's nobody that stands out. Like you have Gordon Hayward and Gobert, but guess what? Everybody else playing in their role. You know what I'm talking about? They don't have anybody who's too flashy. And I'm liking what the Jazz been doing. And, you can see this coming. And George Hill, that was a good pickup. It looked like a bad pickup, honestly, because I personally didn't think George Hill was going to fit in this offense, but he's really flourishing, and he's really flourishing with Gordon Hayward stepping up and also Gobert stepping up.
No doubt. We don't look out for those Jazz. That's going to be a defensive team, especially in the playoffs. They're going to give somebody trouble. Oh my God, that's going to be a terrible matchup.
Shout out to Joe Johnson on there. He's been balling of late. That was a good pickup.
That's that limited role. You see a lot of these, like it's kind of like what Paul Pierce did a couple years ago. You didn't see Paul Pierce out there running around for 40 minutes, but he came in and gave you 20 good minutes of basketball. And that's all they need Joe Johnson to do. Go out there for 20 minutes. If you get double digits, that's only adding to already
being efficient.
Yeah, there's already a defensive team. You only adding points to it. So that's how they're able to squeeze out those close games when you get that contribution from Joe Johnson coming off the bench. Well, let's talk about Joe Johnson's old team, the team that's appearing number 8 on the power rankings. They wasn't ranked last time. We didn't show them a lot of love. But I'm talking about the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, this is probably the best news they've had since the Super Bowl, sad to say. They sitting at number 5 in the East right now, 32-24. A little bit mediocre in the last 10, going 5-5. But they trade away their best shooter. So it's like, gee, what did you expect of them?
Yeah, man, that was crazy.
It's still crazy. Like I said, I still haven't wrapped my head around it. But Tim Hardaway Jr., man, he looked like he's coming to his own. I didn't expect him to be this good. I'll be completely honest with you. I thought if it was any guard, that probably would have changed that team around. I forgot the guy's name, but it was the kid from Butler. I think he with the Jazz right now. But yeah, if it was any guard that they had that was going to change everything around, I didn't expect it to be Tim Hardaway, but he exploded out on the Rockets. I believe he had a 20-point quarter.
Mm-hmm.
He's been all systems go since then, man. But they need some type of shooting now, so it's kind of sad. But he got to try to replace Kyle Korver, and he's not nearly as good a shooter in my opinion. But they clearly gave him the volume. He's attempting the most shots on the team as far as the 3-point line.
Yeah, he's starting to get efficient. And the thing about Hardaway Jr. that I liked was he was good on the defensive end. So that's probably why they wanted him to replace Kyle Korver, because Kyle Korver wasn't giving you the point. Kyle Korver was in there and he wasn't giving you the Kyle Korver points. And if he's not giving me my points, he's not helping me on the defensive end. So they were like, oh, why are we bothering with him when I could put Tim Hardaway Jr., who can probably score more points than you and not lack on defense. So I understand that move. But I like, honestly, let's be real. Dwight Howard's having a good season. He's having a pretty decent season, and he's starting to, I guess, give him the ball more. Something that the Rockets weren't about to give Hart. It just seemed like it's like Howard when he goes to a new team. Yeah, he'll flash for maybe a few games, maybe the season, but after that, he's gonna fall off. When he got with the Rockets that first year, oh man, Dwight Howard looked pretty decent. Then he fell off. Same with the Lakers. He looked good, and guess what? He fell off because he didn't want to be there anymore. So it's going to be a matter of time before you get the same old Dwight Howard. But Paul Millsap still putting up, all-star numbers. Dude's just been balling. And I kind of wish, if you want to be honest, I kind of wish Paul Millsap stayed with the Jazz, because the Jazz, if they had Paul Millsap instead of Derek Favors, Jazz probably be a number 2-3 seed in the West, but it is what it is. But I'm liking what Atlanta's doing, but I don't see them continuing this run. They'll falter off.
Just thinking about the Jazz, I think the Jazz biggest problem is thinking they can just go out there and find power forwards. I don't know who made them like the power forward finders. I think they had Boozer, even though they brought in Boozer, but then Millsap, then Derek Favors, Karl Malone. Like, they just feel like they can just bring in any power forward to be productive. It don't work like that. They actually let an all-star walk away for no reason.
Yeah, because
wanted to be there.
Yeah, Derek Favors. Well, Derek Favors was looking good, and that's what they probably thought was, Derek Favors is going to be my future power forward. But Derek Favors really has not been good this year or last year. That's what's been surprising, because Paul Millsap was balling, but they didn't have Gobert, so they were running Favors and Millsap is the 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And then Paul Millsap, they were like, hey, well, I got to pay Paul Millsap when Favors is balling, but it just goes to show you how good Paul because he made Derek Favors look good, and now look at Derek Favors.
No doubt. Like, I can agree with that, but any team that doesn't have a 20-point per game score, I don't take them serious.
Yeah,
I mean, because you can't guarantee, you can't tell me that Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap going to combine for 40. No, I'm not buying that.
Yeah, not at all.
Sooner or later, those hook shots going to start missing. Those jumpers going to start missing. You're going to get tired, and you're not going to go that far. You don't have two reliable 3-point shooters on the outside that you can rely on when you're not getting it done on the inside. So I think Atlanta's a joke right now. They was a joke for even making that trade, especially being in the heart of the race. And then it's a chance they could be facing Kyle Korver in the second round. And I hope he go off on him. Because that was the stupidest trade ever.
And then laugh at him. And then laugh at him as he popping threes.
You ain't lying, man. But let's go to the team that finished our last power ranking as the number 5 team. Now they dropped down a little bit to the number 17, the Memphis Grizzlies. still led by Marc Gasol having a fantastic season, an All-Star season, well deserved, as well as Mike Conley, who I believe deserves an All-Star nod, and Mr. First Team Defense himself, Tony Allen. Man, I love everything about the Grizzlies. This is one of the most unselfish teams. I don't know who I like more out of Memphis and the Jazz. I want to say Memphis just because the name power, who's not a fan of Zach Randolph? Who's not a fan of Marc Gasol? Who's not a fan of Mike Conley? Unless you don't like how much he getting paid, but don't hate on him, man. But I like everything about Memphis, man. I don't know if they can make a legit run, but this is another team it's not going to be an easy out. And they starting to get a little bit more consistent. They still don't have Chandler Parsons consistently. And all he got to do is go out there and do similar to what Joe Johnson doing.
But what scares me about, what's funny about looking at the Grizzlies? DeMarcus. If you look at them, it's like the Grizzlies have the power forward that the Jazz need, and the Jazz have the small forward that the Grizzlies need. It's like if they would just, if they got get rid of Chandler Parsons, put Gordon Hayward over there, and boom. You got a cold team. Or, give me Zach Randolph and put him on the Jazz. Boom, you got a cold team. So that's why I'm just like, man, they're complement each other. Like the Grizzlies, Spurs, and the Jazz, they all have like the same kind of, concept of how they build a team. And they're really all three impressive to watch. But the Grizzlies kind of slipping right now because they're trying to ease Parsons into the system, and it's not working right now. Parsons is really looking like he is a bust again. Sad to say, and I'm mad that they.
Right, but when you make that kind of investment, you got to put him out there. You can't pay the man and just sit him down. I mean, that's just free money. You got to throw his ass, make his ass work for it. I don't give a damn if he hurt or not. I'm paying you, but
yeah, we paying you to still. I would have paid you to still sit on the bench because guess what? We were winning when you was on the bench, and now you in the offense and we're not winning. So I'm kind of like, choosing my poison, but you got to play him out there. But they if Parsons can play like he played with the Rockets or maybe the second year when he's with Dallas, they could be a dangerous team. But if they don't get another scoring threat on that side of the ball, I don't know if they're gonna go too far in the playoffs. I can see the Jazz easily overtaking them and leaping them in the standing. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how it shake out after the All-Star break.
Definitely. Memphis will be a team to watch. Another team to watch in the East will be making their debut on our rankings as they was not ranked last time. At number 6, we have arguably one of the better backcourts in the NBA. The Washington Wizards featuring John Wall and Bradley Beal. Man, I mean, I like the turn that Bradley Beal is making this season. I must say, I always felt he had that talent. They're 9-1 in the last 10 games, third in the East. They made that climb. Bradley Beal is averaging 23 points a game, and
that three is falling.
The three's falling. That's all you need.
That's what it was. That three wasn't falling last year, and he was hurt. That was the only thing that was messing up. That three is falling, and then your boy, what's his name? Porter.
Porter.
He started balling. He's balling right now, and
that team goes as far as he goes, man.
And there's one other person, Markieff Morris is like he's like him and his brother are.
They're better apart than they were together.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. How do I say this? They're not like the best power forwards, but they're the type of power forwards that you can go far with. If you
those Jawan Howards.
Yeah, exactly. But they got a nice little team, and then I'm liking what they're looking like the OKC of the East. If you want to be honest, because you got like I'm not gonna say that Porter is like KD.
Otto Porter is that factor. Every team has, oh man, if this person go off, man, we gonna have a chance. And he's that person. If you see a game, all right, let's rewind. I know this is a game that we lost, but game 1 against Golden State, the year we went to the Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
At one point in the fourth quarter, they showed Trevor Ariza 20 points. I said, damn. Trevor Ariza got 20 points. We down by 1. If Trevor Ariza got 19 points, that game don't go down to the last position.
Mm-hmm.
So Otto Porter's that type of player. Once you have him going off and that extra energy he bring, those extra couple buckets he make, maybe he leaked out in transition, got a free dunk or something, that adds to the game. That's adding value to his game because that's confidence. And he's draining the 45% from the 3-point line. That's not no joke, man.
Especially
in the game.
Hey, and then Trey Burke, came from the Jazz. He's starting to
Mhm.
step up. Like, he's starting to increase his minutes because I was looking at the other day because I know he went to the Wizards, but I know he wasn't jumping out the page. And all of a sudden I started looking, I was like, Trey Burke had what? 18 points. And I look again and I watch again. I was like, man, Trey Burke out here working. So it's like all of the pieces are, I guess, meshing together. And I want to be honest with you. When we were out there looking for coaches, and the names were out there, Frank Vogel, then it was what's his name? Scott Brooks was out there, and then we had who we got now D'Antoni. But Scott Brooks, just picture Scott Brooks with the Rockets offense. Yeah, D'Antoni's doing a great job, but Scott Brooks would have given us what D'Antoni is doing right now for the Rockets, but we would have had defense that would have been more improved. Because that's what the Wizards started doing, because their offense wasn't clicking yet, and their defense was still keeping them in games. But all of a sudden, now their offense is now popping off, and they still got that defense. That's why they're going on this run.
I'm not even gonna say it's the offense, Marcus. I'm just gonna say what you already said. The 3-points are falling. Like once those start falling, it's like, oh, those are demoralizing, man. 3-point shots, like, man, 3-point shots can change the game so fast, man. You could be up by 15. Next thing you know, oh shit, 12-point game. Oh shit, 9-point game. Hold on, now everything got serious. You just went from up by 15, double digits. 2 shots later, it's a single-digit game. That's how deadly the 3-point shot is. And if you can't get nothing going on the other end, and you got Bradley Beal firing away, Otto Porter firing away, you got Marquise Moore firing away, Thornton, Oubre, Trey Burke. If they start getting that 3-point game going, they already got a coach that's committed to defense. This team is dangerous.
That's what I'm saying.
They just as dangerous as, let's get into the next team, the number 5 team, the Boston Celtics.
Yes, sir.
When that 3-point shot get to going for the Celtics, they become a dangerous team. And we've seen that from these teams that play defense and have these analytical coaches. Once they get the defensive side all well intact, if you get anything on the offensive end, it's a plus. Anything.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about when I was looking at the Celtics. Isaiah's having a phenomenal season. MVP. I put him and Westbrook are neck and neck in my opinion, as in the number 2. James Harden's number 1. But that team is playing superb defense, and that's what's separating them from it's starting to look like, if you want to be honest, it's starting to look like the East is starting to be the defensive have the defensive teams, and the West is starting to have the more predominantly offensive side. Because I want to be honest, because the Raptors are going to get together. The Raptors got to get together.
I'm going to have a couple good defensive players on the team. I mean, when you look at the Wizards, defensive players that stick out to me is like Gortat, Otto Porter with his link. Moore's playing a solid defense on his end. They got their 3 players. You look at the Celtics, you got Bradley, Horford, Crowder, got Amir Johnson coming there playing defense. So you just got to have like 3 or 4 bodies that's actually committed to playing defense, and it changed everything. But like you just said, it's some teams in the West that probably have no people that's committed to playing defense, or they don't have a coach that's preaching that in practice. So it's all about the coach. If you don't practice it, it's not going to show up on the court.
Yeah, Brad Stevenson preaches defense. Scott Brooks preaches defense. Frank Vogel, he's all about defense. And LeBron, if anything, you can suck on offense. LeBron is going to coach defense. If you see what I did right there. But but it's like the offensive minds of the Western Conference don't believe in defense. Steve Kerr and maybe Popovich are the only 2. The Grizzlies are cemented in defense, if you want to be honest. But it's just like, I'm liking what I'm seeing out the Eastern Conference this year, because I see a lot of teams that are competing, that are thirsty to want to compete with the LeBrons, and they see. I don't know if you want to be honest with this year, it's really going to be a wash. It's going to probably end up being the Cavaliers and the Warriors. But what I'm seeing is a lot of teams in the East that are hungry, and they starting to see a window that's starting to crack open with LeBron, because LeBron's getting older and he's starting to get a lot of miles on his body. And LeBron, if he's not getting the help that he wants, LeBron is not going to be winning like he is. And a lot of these teams are starting to see that window open up, and they want to take advantage of that. And that's why you see them playing their A game night in and night out. And a lot of these teams are getting more defensive oriented, and they're trying to come for LeBron. And I'm be honest with you, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but in the coming years, I see LeBron starting to slip and him starting to fall in that 3-4 seed, and he's starting to fall off his high horse. And a lot of these younger teams are gonna start taking off, like Milwaukee. The Wizards are still young. The Raptors still gonna be in there. The Celtics are gonna be contenders. You know what I'm talking about? These young teams are gonna start making a run in the East.
I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but I just wanted to talk about a young team, Jabari Parker, man. Like,
oh yeah, man, that's a bad break for him, man. Another ACL tear.
Like, when I tell you, I have nothing but high praise for the way he was able to not only bounce back and come back last year, he was improving this year, man. Like you normally see those type of players, they start getting burnt out from the rehab. Like going so every often, like look at Brandon Roy. Like Brandon Roy was a hell of a player, but you can tell that he just didn't. He got tired of rehab, and I really don't want Jabari Parker to fall into that. Say he's good,
and he got hurt right when Chris Middleton was coming back. I was like, dang man, because that was who they were waiting on. That was their offensive threat last year. I keep saying,
yes,
but it's just like Jabari Parker. I hope he comes back hard. I hope he goes on a Adrian Peterson sabbatical.
I just hope he don't get discouraged, because
he better go talk to Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson will push you to put in that work to come back, because Jabari Parker was starting to elevate his talent to the point where he was in that conversation. Is this going to be the next star? Is this going to be the next NBA? I guess kind of head honcho.
Because you really didn't know what he was. He was like a hybrid three and a 4. He wasn't as big to be a 4, but he still had some size on him.
And he had good lift too. He has a nice good lift.
Nice little jump. Like, I liked everything about his game. I just don't hope. I hope he don't get discouraged. I hope he's able to bounce back next year. And then you got Thon Maker, like right behind the Greek Freak. It's so much talent down there, man. So much talent. And I want Jason Kidd to do well as a coach. I really do. I really do. But we just finished talking about the number 5 team, the Boston Celtics, who was number 8 last time. And let's talk about the last team we got in the East, the Cavs at number 4. They originally was number 3 in our previous rankings, but we all know why they're going to fall down a little bit. Kevin Love is a huge loss, like we talked about earlier. We know they still going to have that same caliber, night in, night out competing. You got the Tristan Thompsons, got Channing Frye, J.R. Smith should be back soon. Whatever you're getting out of Kyle Korver is going to be great. But the one thing that bothers me the most about the Cavaliers is the fact they don't show any effort on the second nights of back-to-backs. It's like they're intentionally trying to coast through the season. I believe they have one of the worst records on the second night of a back-to-back. And I know you probably want to give your players a rest or a little something just so their legs not too tired. I mean, shit, look what just happened to Kevin Love. But you still got to put a little bit of blame on them also, because they want to claim that they knew he was hurt, but you go out there and play him for 36 minutes on the bum leg. Are you going to do the same thing to Kyrie and LeBron when they get hurt? I don't think so.
Man, you know what? So I know LeBron is a generational type of player. He's amazing. He's a model citizen. He's a person that you would want your child to look up to. He's a great basketball player. He, improves the talent around him. But the knock I'm always going to put on LeBron is this. LeBron, he's so, how do I say this? He's so smart. He's too smart for his own good. He knows that the competition in the East is nowhere close to him and the squad that he would ever be on, okay? So he knows he can take time off, and it's not really going to affect anything. He knows that in the first preseason game that his team is preparing for the playoffs. Like he knows that I'm gonna be in the playoffs. I know I'm gonna probably get the number 1 seed, and he constantly does not put forth 100% effort always, all the time. Okay. And that's the knock I will always put on him, because you didn't have back in the day. Yes, you could. I know Jordan team. I know when Jordan went in on day 1 on preseason was like, I know the Bulls. I know my team is so raw. We're going to be number 1 seed automatically. So let me take a couple of games off, or let me chill and not give too much effort on this night. Let me go ahead and rest a little bit. No, he competed because he loved the game. LeBron, I know you love the game, and I know that you want to be healthy, and I know you want the titles to your name. But when is it just like when are people just removed from the business side of basketball, and when you just love the game so much and you just play to play? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I know LeBron, I know he wants to go run like, oh, I got so many miles on my body and so many minutes. Kobe had a lot of minutes, but Kobe was still out there competing. Kobe could literally be in the number 1 seed and be 20 games over what the second seed have, and he still gave it his all, like he was competing for number 1. And that's the thing that I would always admire about Kobe. I hated Kobe for a long period of time, but I always admired that he always grind and he always gave it his all. And like you said, when you talked about Baron Davis always showing up, always being committed, Tim Duncan always showing up, always being committed. Popovich made him rest. I'm pretty sure Tim Duncan wanted to be in there every game. LeBron, nobody controls LeBron but LeBron. LeBron if he's resting, it's not because Tyronn Lue says, LeBron, you should rest. It's LeBron knowing that, I just going to rest because I know we're going to win this game. But it's like, no, like you said earlier, there's a people that want to see you. You are a generational type of person. You should want to come in and day out and do nothing but perform.
Because you're getting paid damn good money to do so.
I'm trying to tell you, what person do you know that has supreme talent doesn't want to have that turn on that supreme talent whenever he can showcase it? If I was a rapper, and I was probably one of the best rappers, whenever I got a chance to rap, I'm pretty sure I was going to give it my all. If I was a football player, Jerry Rice, no days off, always competed. Calvin Johnson, no days off, always competing. It's like, what is this soft league that we're going to? Because what LeBron is doing is setting in motion things that are going to affect later on. A lot of people are going to start doing this. A lot of stars are going to start doing this. You're seeing it now.
They want to do it now. If they could, if they really could do it without like any backlash, they do it. Oh man, you know how many games James Harden probably missed being at the club or something if he knew he could afford to do it. Like for real, but when you got MVPs and finals MVPs and championships under your belt, this is what you can get away with in the NBA. Because at the end of the day, he's still making league money. I mean, let's not get it twisted. But what I don't want to see is these rich owners sitting around in the table asking, man, why are we not making enough money in the regular season? Why are our fans not emotionally invested in our game? Look at your players. They're not even emotionally invested in the game. Exactly. So why should we come down there and spend our hard-earned money when they barely even want to be here as is? They crying to reduce the season as is. They don't even want to play 82 games. You think we want to go out there and spend 41 games worth of money? No.
I don't know, man. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Exactly, man. Let's move on to the number 3 team, the Rockets, who were previously the number 2 team in the power rankings. But they went on a little slide. I mean, I blame a lot of it on fatigue. The Clint Capella injury played a little bit of a factor into it. I mean, come on. He missed a lot of time. I mean, that's the extra body. Nene had to add on extra minutes on his body. So it was just a lot going on with the Capella injury. I don't think that was the biggest reason for the slide. Like I said, a lot of it had to do with fatigue. The legs weren't on them from shooting all the shots in the season. The fact we still got Corey Brewer on the team. Nah, I'm gonna leave him alone. We do need to get rid of him, though. I don't know,
man. They look tired. They look tired.
They all look tired. Eric Gordon starting to go through his slew of injuries that we all seen coming. Like, let's not act surprised.
We know he was gonna be hurt.
Yeah, I booked him in for at least 15 on my end. At least. I mean, but you got to give him his time off. You don't want to overwork him too hard. He has been doing this thing. Ryan Anderson missed a couple games. The only people that's there day in, day out are Ariza and James Harden. And I really don't know where we would be without Ariza. Like,
they dependable.
He really should his career just in general. You know, he don't get a lot of respect when you really talk about Ariza. I was just talking about him winning a championship with his defensive plays, but he's put a lot of time in this league. I mean, 12 years, second round pick. He really didn't flourish that much with the New York Knicks back in the day. But now you fast forward to 2017, the man hasn't missed a game.
Bro, you know what? Hey, we were talking about this earlier. Porter reminds me of Ariza.
I mean, they had Ariza on the roster, so he had to learn
Yeah, that's
something
what he.
from a veteran.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, because this what I'm saying. This is one of those glue small forwards that you need. And when I say glue small forwards, I'm talking about Doug Christie wasn't really a small forward, but he kind of fit that mold. That defensive small forward that may hit a three every now and then. The Shane Battiers of the world, the Trevor Arizas of the world, the Nicholas Batums. You need those players. You really don't see even a Lamar Odom. He didn't have as much defense, but his length just really bothered a lot of people on the defensive end. So when you have like those glue small forwards, you really can win. Even Ron Artest, like they really do play a factor, and you have to have them on your team to be successful. It's just not a lot of teams that I can look at the history of the NBA and think of that didn't have some type of production from the small forward position that went on to win a championship. You see it, even with LeBron James, if you want to count him. Look at what Tayshaun Prince was doing for the Pistons. Like, you need those type of players. You know, they make everything go. And I really feel like he's one of those undervalued players in today's game that we'll look at 10 years from now like, man, Ariza was damn good. Like, how we look at Vince Carter. I'm not saying he's on the same level as Vince Carter, but I'm saying just when you look back and think of Vince Carter's career, those accomplishments actually jump out to you. And well, you can say the same thing with Ariza because he do got a ring on his finger.
Well, he got two of them on his finger.
Yeah.
What, didn't he play in 2009 with him too?
Well, wait a minute. No, I
he got drafted. He got drafted.
He came to the Rockets. He came back to the Rockets.
Okay,
well, so yeah, his first stint with the Rockets because Artest had went to the Lakers.
Okay, so yeah, he got that ring, so it's gonna separate him from Vince Carter. But the thing about, like you said, he's dependable. Like, he's always in there, and you need that small forward. The Rockets, if you want to be honest, we've been really looking at the Rockets, and the thing they're starting to lack is they need a power forward. They're really lacking a power forward. They need somebody that's gonna come in there that can give them the defense every now and then that they may need, and the extra scoring, the spreading the floor, because Harold is not cutting it anymore.
I mean, but we knew he was limited to begin with. I mean, let's be completely honest. What did we really expect from Montrezl Harrell? He wasn't a first round pick. He wasn't a star at Louisville. He was an athletic freak, and that's like the bare minimum athletic freak. He just got some nasty dunks where you hang on the rim, and it look a little bit more athletic. I mean, what do we really expect out of him?
Man, Mark Cuban need to just give us Dirk. I think he just give us Dirk, and I think that's what we should do. He owes us.
Man, Dirk can't go nowhere. Dirk has to be one of the few superstars that stays with his team. I'm upset that Paul Pierce left the Celtics.
Hey, let me holler at you right quick. Let me throw something out there. I know this is about to be off topic for a few seconds, but most improved, Harrison Barnes.
I can agree with that.
Man,
I'd either say Harrison Barnes, like I told you before. I still throw Isaiah Thomas in there,
yeah.
And I even show some love to Mike Conley because I like what he's doing. I'm a fan of players that got paid and went out there and backed that shit up. Von Miller deserved to win a Defensive Player of the Year this year. He didn't get it, but he got his money and he went out there and earned that money.
Yeah,
Albert Hainsworth didn't do that shit. Now I'm just throwing that name out there. And when you see Mike Conley listed as the highest paid player in the NBA and go out there and have this type of season for the Grizzlies, I commend him.
Yes, sir. Got to give him respect. But the Rockets, it's going to be like this. The Rockets and the Cavs may flip-flop, honestly, because it depends on how, the stretch they're going to end up having. But a lot of these teams, the Rockets and the Cavs, they need rest right now, and it's starting to show. But going into our, into the this little break they're gonna get, I would like to see how that's gonna play off at the end of the season.
No doubt. We got this. Of course, we got the Warriors number one, but we have a new number two. The Spurs are now number two, and that shouldn't be no surprise. I believe 20 consecutive seasons of winning basketball. That is amazing. And the only reason that's really sticking out to me, think of 20 years ago. They was beating the Knicks. The Knicks were at their all-time greatest, but they went to, 2 finals in 4 years because they faced the Rockets, then they faced the Spurs. 20 years later, look at the Knicks. 20 years later, were we thinking that the Spurs were going to be one of the better dynasties of our modern era? it's just amazing what he's doing year in and year out, creating a superstar in Kawhi Leonard that I'm pretty sure the Pacers still didn't see coming. I know they got to be shooting themselves in the foot just thinking about it. I'm still struggling with the entire LaMarcus Aldridge fit. He just looks so uncomfortable, man. It's hard to watch sometimes. I feel like Paul Gasol is a better fit than LaMarcus Aldridge at this moment because Paul Gasol is actually accepting his role.
LaMarcus Aldridge screwed him on sale because he wanted. I know how you can be sold on the Spurs and I'm sold on
the win.
Yeah, I understand that. But if I was LaMarcus Aldridge, and I'm not saying this because I'm a diehard Rockets fan, but he really could have been what the Rockets needed because we don't need that much defense from you, but you would be a good rebounding and you would be a good body in the paint that would take away from a lot of these offensive players. But on the offensive end for the Rockets, you are that scoring that the Rockets need, and you play away from the basket. So you play in that 25-foot, 17-foot range that the Rockets need, that fill that void in so Harden can work inside and out better. And I'm really thinking like you really should have been with the Rockets. And I feel like that would have, I guess, kind of contribute to you in the long run because I don't see you work. LaMarcus Aldridge doesn't fit the culture of the Spurs, if you want to be honest with you.
He don't.
He plays like he gets his numbers because he's LaMarcus Aldridge because he's put him out there. But I feel like a David Lee or a Paul Millsap, somebody like that, somebody that's more of a grinded out kind of a power forward is what the Spurs needed, and they just kind of filled it in with LaMarcus Aldridge.
They like those hard workers. I mean, look how many white players have went to the Spurs and just expanded their career. When you look at Brent Barry, Matt Bonner, David Lee, they just go there. They want to play basketball, and I just don't see that from LaMarcus Aldridge.
Me neither.
I just don't see it. It's hard to say, man. Like it was a mistake going there. But and this also going to be like an extreme comparison. But remember when Chad Johnson went to the Patriots, and we was all like, "How does this work?"
Right, and it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. Like it was weird. They made it to the Super Bowl, right? No, I was at the Randy Moss year.
No, they made
Chad Johnson. He played in the Super Bowl.
He didn't play.
So yeah, he didn't play, and it was just one of those weird fits where it's like, oh man, this could be a match made in heaven, or it could completely backfire. And I'm kind of seeing that with this Spurs situation because they actually have to play him. It's not as many players in the NBA as is NFL, of course. So you have to play. You have to play him. You have to put him out there. You have to let him shoot the ball and work in the offense, even if he does look uncomfortable. But he's leading the team in nothing right now, man.
But the thing that's crazy about LaMarcus Aldridge, what's crazy about LaMarcus is it's not taken away from the Spurs winning because at the end of the day, they got LaMarcus Aldridge because they thought he would have brought more defense to the team, but he's still getting his offense. But Kawhi Leonard makes up for the deficiencies that LaMarcus Aldridge are going through on the defensive end. And the thing about LaMarcus Aldridge that I've always wanted him to do is go to a team where he would just be like, I don't solely have to depend on, like, I don't need you to be that defensive presence in the paint. I just need you to score and kind of just be a body like how Dirk is. Like, you don't expect Dirk to play defense, but he clogs the lane up and he can score. So that's the kind of power forward that Dallas needed. That's the same thing for the Rockets, or the Celtics could have used him, or the Cavaliers really could have used him more than they can use Kevin Love. If you want to be honest with you, see, the Spurs need a type of power forward that's can play a 5 and kind of play kind of hard and tough and grind it out, but they can still average at least 17, maybe 20 points. But they didn't get that in LaMarcus.
They actually already have one. That's the crazy part. I mean, look, Paul Gasol, less minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's averaging less points, but his player efficiency rating is better. He's averaging more rebounds. He's averaging more assists. He's averaging more blocks. He's averaging less fouls. He's shooting a better free throw percentage. He's shooting a better field goal percentage. He's shooting a better 3-point percentage. He should not be that much better than LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Not at this age for the amount of money that they paying Aldridge and the part of his career that they got Paul Gasol in. Paul Gasol is on the tail end of his career. He wasted away about 3 seasons in Chicago, didn't want to be in LA for like the last 2. So that's really 5 years of him being like not the key guy in any type of offense and not playing at an all-star level. And he's going out there and putting up almost the same efficiency-wise as LaMarcus Aldridge, the guy that you paying what, $80 million to? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly why the Spurs may never, ever bring another big time free agent in.
And this is probably why they would never bring another one. But then we got the number one team in the league, the Warriors.
And there's not much to say about it. As the way
It's
Kevin
really not.
Durant is playing, is if he keep this up, I don't see nobody beating him. Because
Nope.
I honestly feel like Kevin Durant's a little bit petty inside, you know, and I think it's something in him that's saying, man, it's some way somehow I gotta retire with more championships than LeBron James.
I can see that.
I honestly feel that way. I honestly feel like it's like some way somehow I need to be the reason LeBron James not the greatest. And if he can be a part of it, I don't give a damn how much help it take. If I can be a part of stopping LeBron's legacy, I'm all for it.
He's salty about when they lost against when OKC didn't beat LeBron, and it's now that you said that, it's pretty funny. I can see Kevin Durant being like that, where he retired and he beat LeBron
petty,
in the
bro.
finals.
It's funny though.
Yeah, he beat
Kevin
LeBron
Durant
in the finals like 3 times, and LeBron that messes up his record in the finals, and Kevin Durant sitting back like, hey man, I went to the Warriors because I saw a chance of beating LeBron.
And would you blame him? Like, when you want that same, like, it's a fucked up move, Mark. You know, let's just be real with it, like, for what it is. It was a messed up move for him to take that kind of road. But if your goal, I mean, let's look back to Michael Jordan. I'm not trying to compare Michael Jordan and Kevin Durant, but look at how many legacies Michael Jordan ruined on his own. When you talk about Gary Payton, shit, Charles Barkley can't get the damn break. Karl Malone, John Stockton. He just took them all out. You said
Patrick Ewing?
Yeah, Patrick Ewing in the East and shit. It took Clyde Drexler had to leave his damn team to get a championship. As soon as Michael out the league, man, put me on the contender raid. Now I don't know what he's doing.
Hey, the mailman couldn't get no love.
Like look at all those legacies that Michael Jordan destroyed on his own. Kevin Durant would take so much pride in being the guy that single-handedly destroyed LeBron James dynasty. And the only reason I say that is in today's AAU league, these 4 all-stars that's teaming up, they got a goal in mind. Because when the Big 3 assembled in Miami, they said they talked about it at the Olympics. So you don't think they talked about this at no point? You think it really only took one meeting with him to come to Golden State? Come on, man. You know they had to talk about putting an end to this LeBron shit.
Yeah. I can agree in that. And they're clicking at the right time. Steph Curry is starting to turn into Steph Curry all of a sudden. He was looking like
fuck everybody else. Fuck everybody else.
Draymond Green been balling.
Triple double with no points, or without the points being double digits. Come on, man. That's the Draymond Green I love, man.
I like that Draymond Green, but I don't like the Draymond Green that's talking about James what's his name?
Yeah, Draymond drunk on that one.
He was tripping, talking about slave masters. This is modern day slave. I was like, what? I was like, okay, Draymond.
And that's why I feel like I had to defend James a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit, because that's ridiculous.
That was great.
Because you got, like I said, you got a lot of people that's not socially aware of what's going on. So if I get my phone, I'm on Bleacher Report, all I see is Knicks owner slave mentality. I'm gonna get pissed off. I don't even know the story, but I'm gonna get pissed off at him. Now I hate the dude, and I don't even know the details. That's the problem. People are not socially aware. Draymond Green is not socially aware of what a slave is, and that's sad. And for Black History Month, that's sad to say.
And for you to say that he's a slave master because of how he reacted to Charles Oakley, I'm just like, yo, Charles Oakley, like you're really taking it too far. Like people are really hyping up Charles Oakley way too much. They act like this was Allen Iverson that just got disrespected at a game, or this is Scottie Pippen, or oh man, this Rasheed Wallace or Kevin Garnett. Like, come on, this is Charles Oakley, man, and people are taking this way too far. It's racial tensions, political tensions, and social tensions are at an all-time high right now.
And it's for no reason at all. I mean, come on, man. James Dolan, he made a statement to defend himself. What did Draymond do? What did Draymond Green do after he was kicking people in the nuts? Defend himself. Mm-hmm. Did we call him a slave for defending himself? No,
nope.
We don't do that. That's not fair to this man.
No, we didn't call him.
What I'm saying? No, we called him no cool, man. So you got to chill, man. Just Just chill, Draymond. It's not no slave master stuff going on. He was frustrated because he had 20 years of less than mediocre basketball in New York City, the capital of basketball, and now he's getting attacked by his former players, and he got upset. If you was the owner of a team and you had to deal with that same flack, you'd probably be going off too. So come on, man. Let's all get on the same page. There's no racial thing going on. It was a misunderstanding, but at the same time, Charles Oakley, if you want to call yourself a New York Knick, stop bashing the New York Knicks. Help them out. Tell them what they need to be doing. Get them some ideas of who to trade for. Since you think you know it all, help them out. Go into the front office and ask for a job. Get on the phone, call some scouts, get some players in there to get this team back on track. Because the team that you're sitting on the sidelines rooting for is the same team that kicked you out, but they're not getting any better over the last 20 years. But you quick to backlash and talk down on them. But why are you being the problem and not being a part of the solution?
Yeah, man. It just didn't make any sense. And it's just like sometimes I want these players, like I said earlier, I like these players to talk out and talk about these situations. But if you have literally no idea about what you're talking about, it's better that you just stay silence.
Because you just making it worse. Because like you said, we want our players to go out there and be political figures or whatnot, but just speak on the issues. But when you say stupid stuff like this and you get upset that we took it out of context, it's all your fault. Because they
don't want to listen to us. That's another reason why they wouldn't want to listen to you, because people are coming out there saying dumb things like this, and people don't want to listen to it. It's like, oh, there you go. That's why I think you should stick to basketball, because what the ignorant thing you just said, Draymond.
There you go, right there. And that's why they only look at us as figures, and we never accept it as people, because you're always setting us back 25 years. Thanks, Draymond.
Thanks, Draymond.
Thanks, Draymond.
I had a bad day. Thanks, Draymond.
Well, man, we will be back with our 2 episodes as usual next week. See how the All-Star game gonna kick off. I hope we got something good to talk about, man. This dunk competition, all that good stuff. I ain't want to get into it today because I want it to be fresh on our minds when we talk about it next time. And maybe give them a whole show, or at least half a show, talking about the All-Star game. Who you think gonna be the MVP this year?
I don't know, man. It just seemed like something that Westbrook would do, just be spiteful.
That's what I was gonna go with. I think Westbrook. I think he gonna look at Durant while he driving to the lane a couple times, try to dunk it, and you know what I want to see? I want to see an all Warriors and Westbrook lineup.
Oh wow, that would be funny. Westbrook don't even who gonna play the so what? Westbrook gonna play the 2, Clay gonna play the 3, man, that's gonna be awkward.
That'll work. It'll work though. It depends on what kind of lineup the East got out there. I feel bad that Carmelo got selected. I wanted Embiid to get, but that injury kind of held him back a little bit.
It did, but man, Kevin Durant better watch his rebounding on the game, because I'm pretty sure Westbrook gonna want to grab one of the rebounds and accidentally dunk it on him.
For real, you ain't lying. He probably do it on purpose.
Just do it on purpose.
Steal the ball from him while they got.
Because you saw them being chatty. Hey, you saw them going at each other when they played each other on Saturday. I was like, whoa, it's some bad blood right there.
I like it though. The NBA too friendly. We need some bad blood in the NBA.
Hey man, it was beautiful, man. I was loving. I said, yeah, man, let's take it back to 09 when niggas used to get at each other.
I wanted a fight. I wanted Ben Wallace or somebody to come out there one time.
The slide
just to show.
Oh shit.
For real, man. But as for now, this has been Fish and Grits, and you guys have just been served.
Y'all enjoy.